Alright guys, what is up? Welcome back to Avorion with LD7, and today we're continuing our turret series with combat turrets. So let's dive right in. The pirates haven't come to the sector yet, so I'm hoping I can cover this before they do. So there's different types of combat turrets, so let's go ahead and clear that out. And basically what combat turrets do is they allow your ship to do damage to other ships, stations, things of that nature throughout the game. They aren't very effective against stone in general. That's where you'd want to use a mining turret. And as far as like damage wise, salvaging turrets, usually if they're at the same level and like tech rating and all that stuff as the combat turret, they might do a little bit more DPS. However, salvaging turrets, you got to be really close range and they can't have shields on to use them. So anyway guys, we're focusing on combat turrets first. We'll get to salvaging turrets next time, but let's take a look here. So there's different type of turrets as far as these go, but let's take a look at this Tesla turret. These are going to be good against shields, but they don't do any damage versus stone. So if you coat your ship in stone, which is, you have it at all levels, you can make stone. So this is like Xanian infused stone. If I was to layer all of the ship with this, if the enemies attacking me were using Tesla turrets, they wouldn't be able to do any damage to the hull, even if they drop my shields. So that's how these work. The main things with combat turrets, which is the same regardless of the type, is going to be the stats here. So tech level is going to determine how good the base ranges are going to be for the turret. The material level also affects the base ranges for the turret. So you want a really high tech level, you want a really high material level. 35 is actually pretty good. This is actually a fairly good turret just for where we're at in the game before barrier. That's a decent turret. So DPS is going to be damage per second. That's going to directly correlate to your Omicron or firepower number. So if we put this turret on our ship, it would increase our Omicron by 637.8 because that's what the DPS is. Range is going to be how far you can fire the turret and still do damage. So 4.15 is in kilometers, so if the enemy's within 4.15 kilometers, we can damage them with this turret. The other big things, some turrets will have like a damage type. All turrets have damage type. Tesla's just happen to be electric. There's physical as well, and I believe there's other types. It just kind of depends on the turret. But you want to watch out on the damage types. Sometimes they don't affect specific blocks, or they do more damage versus other blocks. So when you're outfitting your ship with combat turrets, you kind of want to have a balance of damage types and turret types in order to, maximize your efficiency on taking out structures. The next thing below that is the number of slots. Now some turrets only take one combat slot, and some turrets take more than that. Now what the slots number is talking about is how many armed turret slots you need in order to place the turret and have it work on the ship. So like I could place this turret in theory and remove the system and not have enough slots, so it'll stay on the ship, but it won't actually fire unless you have enough of these slots. If you're in build mode, it won't let you place it if you've maxed the slot number. So this is improved with systems. You get a base of 2, I think, something like that. So we just have really good systems on this ship. That's why we have 14. So you have 1 to begin with, and we're getting 13 from systems, is what that's saying. And we have 0 unarmed turret slots, and we're getting 9 from systems. So that's what the slot thing is talking about, and that goes for all turrets. It doesn't really matter. If it takes more slots, you need more spaces in your turret slot capacity. So the Tesla turret here takes 2, so we'd need 2 armed turret slots in order to place this, and then it also requires 3 gunners. That's going to be the direct crew requirement in order to run it, so 3 gunners, and it draws off of your battery charge. So if our generator is out of power, and so is our battery storage, these turrets won't work. They also run out of energy and have to cool down and recharge every once in a while. So that's how Tesla turrets work specifically. The other main type, or the type that I've got, I guess, is chain gun turrets. These are going to be physical damage turrets, so physical damage does more against hull and less against shields, I believe. Outside of that, it's pretty much the same. So you've got DPS damage is just the base stat, and the fire rate is how fast it's shooting the base, and that's where you get your DPS from. Some turrets have those broken down into the stats, some don't. I don't know what kind of dictates that, but anyway, the range is the same, 4.04 kilometers, so it's a little less, but that varies on the turret. Slot wise, this takes 3 slots and 3 gunners, but it does get a plus 35% fire rate when it's not overheated. So that's what the little bottom icon means. This turret will overheat if you consistently use it for too long, and as long as it's not overheated, you can fire it. Once it overheats, it has to cool off before you can fire it again, but before it overheats, you get a plus 35% fire rate. So this is actually a pretty good turret because you get 573.3 times 0 times 1.35 worth of DPS. I don't know what that actually is, but yeah, this is a good turret. It does take a lot of slots though. Next, double. So this is the other thing. So this is just a single chain gun turret. This is a double chain gun turret. So basically it just means there's more barrels on this one than this one. The more barrels you have, the higher likelihood you have for a better DPS and things like that. So I believe the max you can get is a quad. I don't think I've got a quad yet, but you can get quad turrets, which are really powerful. So there's that. Plasma turrets is plasma damage type. These do more damage versus shields. Less energy consumption. This one just has bonus stats, so that's what the very bottom numbers are, is bonus stats for you. The rest, this one this has no slots, that's why there's not a little slot number listed. So these are good turrets if you want to take out shields quickly. So you mix plasma and physical turrets in order to chew through shields and do a lot of damage. Tesla turrets do a lot of damage, but not against stone. Next is going to be your cannon turret. These are long range turrets. They take a lot of space and they overheat, but they can be really powerful, so you can take a shot from this one almost 18 kilometers, and most of these turrets that we've talked about are within like 5 kilometers, right? So that's pretty good. Railgun turrets, same thing, physical damage on both of these. Railguns tend to be pretty big, depending on what type they are and everything, but these also have a long range. This one's only 12. If it was Xanian level, it would be more like 30, so those are pretty good. Oh, I do have a quad turret. So this is a cannon turret as well, but it's a quad. So anyway, that is pretty much the main types. I guess laser turret would be energy weapons. These are not bad. They're kind of like the Tesla turrets. Generally, you can get pretty high DPS, and sometimes they have bonus modifiers on what they do. So like this one has bonus damage versus shields, whereas this one doesn't, even though they're both laser turrets, right? Outside of that, there are like anti-fighter turrets here. So if you're fighting someone and they send out fighters to come attack you, this you can set to automatically shoot the fighters down so you don't have to aim at them. There's also like independent targeting is what you're looking for. If the turret has that modifier, you can give it commands to directly attack like torpedoes as they're incoming, fighters as they're incoming, or you know, whatever. These are bolter turrets, and this is antimatter damage type, so this does more versus hull. So antimatter and plasma, mix those two together, you're going to do a lot of damage if you have good turrets. Those are pretty much the main categories. There are other like vague little traits and things you can get on the combat turrets that make them better, but that's pretty much an overview of the turrets themselves. You want to max out your Omicron, and you want to diversify your turret damage type, and you know, whether or not they overheat, energy use, all that kind of stuff, so you can always do the max amount of damage. Anyway guys, that's about all the time we've got in this one. In the next episode, we're going to go ahead and cover salvaging turrets. That way we can discuss the next part of the series. And anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, this has been LD7, and we will see